What's up, everybody? I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel.
Happy Saturday, my friends. Well deserved. Hope you've had an awesome work week. Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. Tonight on the show, we're reviewing. We're having an Alien double feature tonight. That's the goal. We're gonna talk some Nope. Nope.
Nope.
And we're also gonna talk Prey, the 300-year prequel to da 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 to Predator.
Is that the
my
theme?
friend.
The Predator?
Yeah. Dude, the Predator theme is awesome. The music in that
Mhm.
80s, no Predator film has ever been able to match the music in the original Schwarzenegger film. It's great. It's very suspenseful. Like, I don't know that any Predator film has ever been able to match the suspense of the first one. You know, and that's for obvious reasons too. That's also because Predator is now a household name, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's part of it, but yeah, man. I really enjoyed both of these, and I'm looking forward to talking about them. So, my friend, how you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm excited to talk about both of these movies. I did not realize it was going to be a Alien double feature, so that's cool because I really
I know,
didn't
right?
really put it in perspective of what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. Both are just as good in their own right. We're not going to compare on which one's better out of the release
Yeah.
because it'd be a travesty. But we're going to talk about how these two movies live up over their predecessors, I
Yeah.
suppose, because
It's hard to compare, and I don't, I don't want to compare them, but I will say I had an absolute blast watching Prey. Like, I really, really had a good time.
did too.
This year, I'll tell you, man, this year's kind of surprised me. Like, the movies that I was obviously looking forward to Prey, and I was looking forward to Jurassic World Dominion quite a bit, actually. I mean, that Jurassic World Dominion trailer made me tear up a little bit. Like, it got me a little misty-eyed. It did. But like, I thought I was going to be. I thought Multiverse of Madness was going to blow my socks off, and I was like, it was good. I loved it, but it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. And like, Jurassic World Dominion, Prey, like the movies that I thought, oh, that'll be kind of cool, I'm excited for that, have been the ones that have really blown my mind. So I don't know, maybe this is the year of surprises in the movie world. Who knows?
I don't know. I'd say this year they've been throwing out a lot of good bangers. There's been very few movies where I've felt like, slightly underwhelmed in
Right.
in that area of these movies. Every single movie has hit the dot, whether it's Top Gun, Jurassic World, Multiverse of Madness,
Mhm.
you know,
Even look at Elvis
Nope
right
and
now.
Prey. Yeah,
Elvis is
and Elf.
killing it.
That's another movie we've been trying to watch. Which, by the way, shout out to you, Tanya. I know you gave Brad some shit for not being
I
able to
know.
watch it, but we'll get on it, my man. We'll
My
get on
mom
it.
is like, I was talking to her the other day, and she was like, "You literally have a movie show, and you still haven't seen Top Gun or Elvis." And I was like,
You know what? That's the same thing I
I've been
heard.
busy. I've been doing a lot. We just moved. I mean,
I
like,
have
I've had a lot going on.
Yeah, I was given that same shit back at work, because I had a couple of friends tell me they were like, "What
It's
do you
funny.
mean?" Like, they were asking me how Nope if I've seen Nope. Like, it was
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "No, I haven't seen it yet, man." He was like, "You have a movie podcast, you haven't seen this movie?" I was like, "Bro, I also have, a job and, like, a life
Yeah.
outside of it." So, that's why I started pushing Nope for you. I didn't know if you knew that because a
Yeah.
couple of
Well,
my coworkers were like, "Hey, you gotta
I
watch Nope."
I did want to see. Yeah, you push that a lot. Actually, you're like, when are we going to see Nope? I'd be like, yeah, can you help me move? You'd be like, yeah, but when are we going to see Nope? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
Priorities.
I thoroughly enjoyed both films, and honestly, there were some previews during Nope that we were like, that what Smile.
Smile, yeah,
I
I've
don't know
heard
if you all.
Smile's gonna be a really interesting movie.
I don't know if you all have seen the trailer for Smile, but good lord,
Yeah, yeah.
you
And just
need some
imagine, like, a
Jesus
disease
after
where
watching that thing.
yeah, imagine, like, a scenario where the people trying to kill you pretty much all look like have, like, the Joker smile, and I'm not talking about, like,
Like,
Heath Ledger's Jokers, like, I'm talking about, like, Jack Nicholson's, like, smile, like, that type of smile. Yeah. Uncomfortable as fuck. It's like they have the same face as
I'm gonna do the whole show like
that
this.
movie that movie, like, what's it called? It's called, something where, like, it's like a Truth or Dare. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that movie?
Barney 4. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
what? Yeah, it's the same
No,
principle.
I know what you're talking about.
It's
I
literally
haven't
the
seen
same
it either.
face, guys. I promise you that it's damn near the
Yeah.
same face. And I was
It's
like,
like I
holy
don't know.
shit.
It's like this entity that but right before, like, everybody that it like infects before it kills you, they're all like somebody's coming at you like with a machete, but they're like
Yeah.
they look thrilled, like it was called Smile. It looked really good. Got a couple people in the chat. Rosalie, what's going on, my friend? She says hi, Brad and Miguel. Million Ideas, what's going on, buddy? He says I haven't seen Nope yet, but I liked Prey a lot. We did too, man. And Goodwill Hunting, what's going on, guys? Hopefully we get a show in with them pretty soon. And by the way, I know we haven't done. There's a couple trailer reactions that I think we're gonna film after we do this show, but we have a couple of things coming out, and I've been trying to mention this a little bit more. We're gonna do our first ever Oktoberfest. So like the end of September through the beginning of November. I know that's not actually when Oktoberfest happens, but give me a break. You'll be fine. But we're going to have all horror Halloween themed content. I know I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out in that window. So like there'll be other stuff too.
We'll have that exception.
Yeah. If anything crazy Marvel or DC happens, of course we're going to talk about it because y'all know we're Marvel nut jobs. Or Marvel fanboys, as we've been called in the past, but it's fine. As I sit with my Endgame poster, my Infinity War poster, and my Black Widow poster behind me.
I about said, yeah, I'm obviously biased with the new one coming out because of what I have back behind me. And I have this new poster again that's just been sitting on my desk because I was tempted on replacing it.
What's the new poster?
With this one, and I was like, bro, I can't do that. I really can't.
New poster.
I just held
new poster. New poster. New
All
poster.
Right.
New poster.
Show us. All right. So, first off, it's $7.99, and from the preview of it, you can kind of tell what it is. So let me just pop that bad boy open.
You popped that thing open, my friend.
I sure did. My hole's
Get
going.
That wrapping off.
My hole's going in the hole. Yes, my hole is going in the finger. My finger is going in the hole. Ripping it. Sees me ripping or wrapping. Don't worry, Milo. It's not food.
This is like ASMR. Like all you're gonna hear on this episode.
Oh my god! Please, for the love of God, do not talk about ASMR. The worst things. The biggest pet peeve of my fucking life is ASMR.
All you're gonna hear is Miguel going.
That huge fad that went around. There was like just all that.
Listen,
noise. Oh my fucking god,
no.
Man! I swear to God, arson is never the answer. But I was willing to burn every single one of them people down.
But at least that sounds a little sketch. But at least ASMR was like things. What is it called when you watch people eat? Is it mukbang?
That's ASMR.
No.
That's literally what it is.
No, there is a whole separate version of ASMR just for watching people eat food.
It's still ASMR, and I hate those.
I can't do that. I don't. It's not even the sound that bothers me. It's just like I don't want to watch somebody sit and eat 12 Big Macs. I don't want to do that.
And you know those, and there's those Asian ones too, where they're like cooking something. Bro, I saw someone literally dead ass eat a whole crab raw, like alive, went, ooh, and just crunched the bastard in half. And I was like, yo, he just raw dogged a fucking sand crab. I'm like, oh my God, these people across the fucking world are absolutely wild. But I mean, hey, if that's what they eat, that's what they eat. It's just not for me.
I don't know.
It's just that it comes on my TikTok feed, it comes on my Instagram feed, and I swear to God, that shit's worse than horror movies. I can watch horror movies literally all day long now. And you guys know that I have been frightful of horror movies when I was a child.
Yeah.
And now it's just I could watch, all the slasher films all day, but then heaven forbid a fucking ASMR crab eating video comes on my Instagram feed, and I gotta get off my phone for 3 hours to reconcile what the fuck I saw. Yeah, so I really hate those fucking things.
Listen, by the way, keep getting weird. Oh no, go for it. Let's see the poster.
All right, I hope it's I hope it's the right way. No, it's not.
That's sexy.
It is the 1954 original cover of Godzilla.
I want to use it as a blanket at night. It looks nice.
Bro, I dead ass. There's a couple of blankets out there. I was tempted on getting it, but I didn't know how my girlfriend was gonna feel. So I'm sorry, Sierra. I was thinking about buying one, but she knows I'm hunched up for money.
A Godzilla blanket?
Yeah, Godzilla playing in the rounds. You're fucking dope.
That's pretty cool,
There's
actually.
Sarazawa
That'd be
right
pretty
there
sick.
with his good old eye patch. Yeah, man.
That's pretty sick, actually.
And it's so cool
I like it.
because it's like this one that I have right here. If you guys can see that one,
Yeah.
it's kind of similar, and it's so cool because like this is the 2014, I think 2014, 2015,
14.
14, okay, 2014
Fake fan.
poster for Godzilla, and the one back there as well, and they both have the same like ominous vibe that this one gave back then in
Yeah,
1954.
yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool that I have all three of them now
Do you
from
remember when
their
the
original dates.
do you remember when the marketing started for that 2014 Godzilla film? Like when the MonsterVerse
Yeah,
first started? Well,
they
they
didn't
didn't
want to show
reveal him.
Godzilla whatsoever.
Yeah, like all like I remember
Yeah.
being at the movie theater and like the only like it said Godzilla, but you just saw like his weird round foot and like a piece of his tail, and that was like all you saw. And you saw
Yeah, that one.
like the skydivers coming, like the the Air Force guys like
Yeah.
in the Marines
Hmm.
and whatever jumping out of the plane. So yeah, that was honestly the marketing for that movie was pretty good because I gotta say everybody like people slam
Unless you
movies
were,
all the time for showing
yeah,
too much in the trailer. Like look at Halloween Kills. Like they showed everybody was like they showed too much in the trailer. They showed every kill. Blah, 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 blah. But like I gotta say, man, Godzilla 2014, they didn't show anything before
no,
that
they
movie.
didn't. I didn't even know. I didn't even know the Mutus were like even like the another big bad in that movie until I saw the movie. So I thought that was I thought that was absolutely dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unless you were like a Godzilla fan when that movie came out, you didn't know what his design was. But
Right.
unfortunately for me, like I followed all the pages, so like
Sure. You pay attention.
I got the leak picture of it, like the leak statue, and I remember everyone was freaking out on it. But then when they finally saw him in live action, they were like, "Oh shit! Yep, Legendary knows what they're doing." So
Yeah.
obviously, we
Did
have the
people
master
not like that
project
at
thing
first?
to be like, "Huh?
Did people not like his
No,
design at
people
first?
did not like the design. Yeah, they
The
said
only thing that kills
they
me,
said his legs looked like fucking elephant trunks, like
they
elephant
literally
legs.
do. But his
They
feet
really
are
did.
round. Like his foot, it doesn't like I don't know. It doesn't like go down like a leg and then like extend his foot. It's just like a pole. Like it's like this water
Yeah,
bottle. Like his foot is just
yeah,
basically the bottom of a water bottle. Like that's
yeah.
all it is.
And they
So,
fixed it over the last, two movies. But yeah, the first one, I mean, I thought it was so dope. I mean, who cares? I doubt there's gonna be that. There was no moment where it was like, and close up to his foot. No, there was none. It was literally all about his fucking face, and he looked fucking baller. So I
huh?
was like, cool, whatever.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife who's shortly off screen. Say everybody say hi, wife.
They said hi, wife.
Miguel, Miguel didn't answer. Oh man. So let's head over to the chat real quick, see what you guys are saying, and then we'll hop in. Do you want to do Nope or Pray first? I kind of feel like we should do them in the order we
Um,
saw them.
let's do pray first since that one's like pretty much fresh in our mind. Or
Okay,
unless you want to do
that's
no,
fair.
because that one's sitting in our mind a lot
It
longer.
it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Chat
Either one are like
decide.
a
Do we
double.
review Pray first or we do review Nope first? While I get to your previous while I get to your previous chats, reply. Let us know. Are we going to review Prey or are we going to review Nope first? Let us know. Real quick, I already read that from Million Ideas. And Good Real Hunting says Smile definitely took Truth or Dare. Smile, but they will do it better. Yeah, man. I don't know.
Yep.
I've seen bits and pieces of Truth or Dare. Honestly, I would have to rewatch it like all the way through again to really
It's
like
so fucked.
let it sink
Honestly,
in.
guys, it's
But Smile
I don't know how I feel
genuinely
about it.
looked really creepy. Like the only problem with it, and you actually said this in the theater, Miguel. Like the problem is they do have to show. Oh wow! Excuse me.
He's only 3 sips in, dog. This is my third one right now.
Three sips, really? No, but like the problem with those trailers is they do have to show a lot. But that's the. I mean, when it's a horror flick, they have to show you a lot in order to. You know what I mean? They have to show you a lot in order to get your butt in the seat. So, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Smile really looked awesome.
Yeah, but there were just a lot of jump scares over there that I just felt that like, like, oh well, I mean, I'm sure that was like the one and only like really good jump scare that they were gonna like,
Yeah.
anchor on, but now it's in the trailer, so we know what's happening.
Yeah. Brettman also says, love Marvel, so I'm a Marvel boy too. Yeah, man, we're hardcore Marvel guys.
Yeah, it's no
Casper,
shame. It's like being a Nickelback fan. You might as well get over it.
I know, right? Well, we
Yeah.
talked about that with Mike and Jay a couple weeks ago. Nickelback
Yeah.
is incredibly underrated.
Underrated,
Actually. Like
yeah.
they're actually like nobody actually has a problem with Nickelback. Like you
Yeah.
secretly listen to Nickelback, and then as soon as somebody says, "Oh, Nickelback sucks," you're like, "Yeah," and you just
Yeah,
like
you just
kick
want to
the
be
can, or
different,
you.
don't you? You just want to be different. No, man, listen here. I used to go to the public library because they had like a CD section, and I would read drawing books and listen to, I forgot what song it was. I think it had something to do with like Carlos Santana and Nickelback together. They had like a duo, and I forgot what the name of that song was, but I was jamming to it in the public library every time when I was young. Yeah.
Everything about what you just said was very strange. I would have never put any of those things together.
Yeah, dog. I actually lived in the public library over here and where I live. Shit was dope.
Yeah, I bet, man. Castler Garcia, what's going on, man? He says Prey is far better than Nope. I don't want to compare
I
them.
get I get
They're
your
two
I
very
get why
different,
you're
but
saying that though.
I
Trust
get it.
me, Garcia, I completely get where you're coming from. I completely get, but both are just as good in their own right. Because you got to understand right now the difference between Prey and I'll say this right now, the difference between Prey and Nope is that Prey, the Predator is already like a well-established franchise
Right,
character. So like it'd
right.
be silly to not see him. It's like you watch a Halloween movie and you're mad that you don't see Michael Myers, or you keep him ominous like you don't see him the entire
Yeah.
time. Like people are going to be upset. With Nope, it's an entirely different concept, and dare I say, Jordan, it's Jordan? Jordan Peele went for certain what's it called? Ominous theatrics, or dare I say, to like really get you in the mood of like what's gonna happen
Let's get
the
it
big
on.
big reveal happens. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we all know when that big reveal happens. If you guys have seen Nope, which I won't spoil it, but like when you have that big reveal of like it being there, like showing like like everything that's supposed to that they were hunting comes out of nowhere. Yeah, that's what they wanted. So it makes sense. Like whereas like the vibes of both Prey and Nope are very different. So I get why you think Prey is better than Nope. That was, I don't know what the fuck I just said, dude. I really don't. I don't know
That
anything I
was
just said
a
right there.
lot of words that just came out of your throat hole.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I don't want to compare them, and this is I feel like I have to watch what I say here because we live in a world of if it's either a 10 or a 0, you either loved it or you hated it. It was either phenomenal or it was like dog poop that you leave in a garbage can for 6 months. Like
Agreed.
I'll say that I probably enjoyed watching Prey more than I enjoyed watching Nope.
And you know what's more surprising about that sentiment?
What?
You watch Prey on a small TV
I know. Well,
compared
but
to
again,
compared to the theaters.
that's what I'm trying to say. That does not mean that I didn't enjoy Nope or that I didn't enjoy watching Nope or I didn't have a fun time. I had a great time watching Nope. Like it was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And I really, really enjoyed watching it. I mean, and it was a guessing game. That's the big difference is with Prey, we kind of knew what we were getting. Like because the Predator is an established species in this franchise, like we kind of, and we'll get to those because they're kind of spoiler-ish, but like there were things about the Predator and about the Predator lore that I was like, oh, that's different. Like that's kind of cool. Nope. I didn't know what to expect going in. Nope was a constant. Oh. And then 10 minutes later, it was like, oh. And then that last third of the movie, it was like, whoa.
Oh,
like, I know, right? It's like the guy, he just resigned from WWE. I'm not a wrestling guy. I think he's like a garbage human being, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But the meme where the guy's like, you know what I mean? Where he's like freaking out.
Steven Yeun?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
But I did enjoy them both. That's not to say that I'm not, I'm not trying to compare them. I'm really not. But yeah, it was a fun flick. Kastler also says Bullet Train was like this. Bullet Train was part like the Speed Keanu Reeves film and the Yakuza video games rolled into one. Yeah, it looks.
Is
fun
it really?
too. It looked kind of fun. I
That's
wouldn't mind checking that out.
I would definitely get to see it. Plus, also because my boy Bob Bunny is in the fucking movie and he actually speaks words, so like I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
It's so great. Like, listen, guys, there's a lot. There's two major Latin American like representation with major motion pictures like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and
Mhm.
Bullet Train because you have Bad Bunny performing next to Brad Pitt, which is uh undeniably like one of like the top tier actors that we
Yeah.
have in our generation, dare I say.
Yeah. I
So it's
agree
just so great to see all that representation. So
for sure. Million I just says, "What about 6 Big Macs?" And then Rosalia even said, "I miss Big Macs, candy gluten." Dude, listen, I don't eat fast food very much. Like I don't get out and eat. You know, we try to cook
you
most
should
of
have,
the time, but
if you guys want my opinion, sorry, bro. If you guys want my opinion on McDonald's, check out our previous episodes, like, and you'll know my spiel on McDonald's.
Um, but listen, every time I go to McDonald's, I'm like, I'm gonna get chicken. I'm gonna get something different. I'm gonna get something else. I'm gonna get something new. And it's like I can't bring myself to not get a number one with a large half and half iced tea. I just can't. Like I have to get a Big Mac. Like even if I'm trying to, it's like my body will not let me order anything else. So I don't need them
Yeah,
much, but
yeah.
when I do, it's delicious. And you
I
guys are
will, I
saying
will. Sorry, I will go on a long road trip, and the only time I'll get McDonald's is if I go on a long road trip, and I
yeah.
want a McDonald's Sprite, large Sprite, or Coke, and a large fry, and that's just to keep me over till I find a place to eat.
My wife said Big Mac slap though. They
She
really
coming out
do.
of left field with that comment.
I know, right?
No,
Welcome to the show. I'm kidding.
have you tried the Big Mac, the chicken Big Mac? It's like a secret
Is
menu
that the
thing.
McBertha or whatever the hell? I don't know what it's called.
I don't know, but
There's
I
a
know.
nickname. There's a nickname for it. There's like a whole
Yeah,
secret menu where they'll put like a McChicken like in between the Big Macs or something, and it's like it's a lot.
yeah, it's called the 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. meal menu right there. That's what it's called. It's when that manager that works overnight is like, bro, I could get less of a fuck what you want in this Big Mac. Just get out of my face. And that's where those menus come alive.
Yeah, man, I get it. So you guys are saying let's do pray first because that's what everybody voted on in the chat. By the way, 8 people watching, just jumped up to 8. If you're watching with us right now, be sure to leave us a
I thought you were
like.
saying you're leaving.
Bye guys. I'm kidding. 8 people, be sure to leave us a like. Let's talk pray, man. But we're gonna talk spoilers. I think they've both been out for a week or more now, so we're gonna talk spoilers for these things. So pray. I really 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 enjoyed a lot of what they did with Prey. I had an absolute blast watching it, and I'm gonna be straight up with you. I had to look up who Amber Midthunder was.
On Prey?
Yeah, the one who played Maru.
Bro.
Listen, I'm gonna be straight up with you. She killed it. It was amazing. Like
She is a dope actress,
about
man.
20 minutes into the movie, I paused it, and Julia was sitting down here. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I got to look up this actress." And I looked her up, and I was like, "Why have I never seen her in anything else before?" I was like, "She
Dude,
is awesome."
if you want more of her as a badass, you need to check out the series FX Legion, which is a Marvel show,
Is
and it
she
talks
in it?
about the Legion character, and she's in that. She's Carrie Louder. She's like the double half of
I
another scientist, and
have to go back.
she's the muscles and he's the brains, and it's so fucking great because she's so like gung ho, just like how she is in Prey. She's so gung ho for the action, and
Yeah.
she's so ready to throw hands. And it showed her skills whenever later on in the movie when she was fighting the Frenchmans. So
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, when I heard she was in that movie, I was like, I think this would be decent.
Yeah.
It'd be done right.
Like 20 or 30 minutes in, I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like she's sick. Like she did
Yeah.
a really, really good job. All of the cast in this, even though it was a smaller cast, they all did a really good job. Even the guy who played her brother, um, was her is yeah Tabe Dakota Beavers. he even did a really, really good job too. Like everybody in it, even though it was a smaller cast, did a really, really phenomenal job. I really, really liked what they did. By the way, David Irwin says, "Hi all, it's 1:30 a.m. here in Ireland, so I'm just listening in bed. Too tired to comment, lol, but just want to say hi. What's going on, man? So glad that you are. So glad you're here.
So glad you were willing to take the time and lose the sleep to come and
I
say
know,
hi.
right?
So we really do appreciate that.
I can't believe you're losing sleep to hang out with two idiots like us, but
yeah,
so be it,
bro. I'll say this though.
anyways.
Yeah, let me say this: Dakota Beaver looks like a blown up version of Eduardo Franco Argyle from Stranger Things.
Where do I know him from? I know. I thought the same thing.
He looks.
I kept thinking I know him from somewhere. But he like quite literally does not have any more acting credits on his thing.
No,
like literally,
which is impressive.
I know, and I was like, dude, he killed it. Like he did awesome.
There's a GQ article out there. It says Prey breakout. Dakota Beavers went from working at TJ Maxx to fighting predators. So like he was working at TJ Maxx before he did Predator or Prey. Or So holy shit, that's insane. Kudos to you, man.
I know, really, really good job. Reginald, what's going on, man? He says, salacious. Are we live right now? We are live right now.
We are.
Right
what
now.
Does salacious mean?
I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what that word means. I've never seen that before in my life. But honestly, I really liked, I had mentioned the Predator lore before, and I've always been a really big what?
Having or conveying undue or inappropriate interest in sexual matters.
Oh,
that's what salacious means. Oh. Thanks, buddy.
So
I appreciate that.
You're happy that we're live. I get it.
Reginald,
man. I'm thrilled right now. I'm not going to say what just went into my mind because it would probably YouTube would probably cancel us. Never mind. But anyways, I've always been a really big Predator fan, and anybody who likes Xenomorphs can go rot in a hole. No, I'm kidding. I like them too, but if I had to pick between the Xenomorphs from Alien and the Predators, I'm always going to pick the Predators. I think they're awesome.
Well, we've had that conversation before.
Yeah,
like,
we have.
What's the better franchise, Aliens or Predator? And we said
Predators
are cooler, but Aliens has had the better franchise. Yeah.
Yes. You might think Alien has the better. I think the Alien franchise is fantastic, but I'll still take Predator. Predator has more.
Let me say this: Aliens have had 3 movies come out in theaters.
Yeah.
Predator got 1 new release, straight to Hulu.
Fair.
There you go.
But,
enough said. Enough said. But I will say, Predator is my favorite alien based icon. I would say Predator is definitely one of my favorite, and Xenomorph is probably like 3rd or 4th or something like that. It's in my top 5, but it's not like up there with Predator. Yeah, there's like 2 other aliens that I can't think of right now, but yeah.
Well, again, spoiler warning here, but like there were a few moments here like that, like exactly the point that you just made. We've gotten 3 Alien films in theaters, but we haven't gotten a single Predator film in theaters since Predators from 2000. When did Predators come out? Let's see.
Predators, bro. Predator. I saw that right after Prey. I'm not gonna lie. I am still watching it. I stopped it just to jump on this.
Yeah, 2010. So we haven't had a theatrical released
in like over a decade.
Predator film in over a decade. And it's a shame. Like one of the things that I thought, like especially towards the end of the movie, when he goes on that absolute rampage through all of the Frenchmen, like in the like when they try to, at the point where Naru says he wants to hunt, he doesn't want bait. Like that, he doesn't want bait. He doesn't care about that. He wants to hunt. Like he wants to be threatened. He wants a fight. Like he wants to pick a fight. Like that whole scene when he had like the Halloween Kills-esque just absolute rampage through all of those people, which was absolutely sick. 2 things come to mind, and the first one is the point you just made a second ago. We haven't had a Predator film on the big screen in over a decade. How cool would it have been to see Predator ripping through all of those people on the big screen? Like that would have been so much cooler than seeing it on Hulu. You know what I mean? And the second thing, what was I about to say? I forgot my second thing. I had a whole
You're
other
fine.
point
We'll
and I
come to it.
forgot. Oh, I think it was something to do with like I really liked. I liked what they did with the Predator lore too. Like again, not only would it have been cool to see this on a big screen. I remember the point. Okay, the point. I have a lot of thoughts because this is still really fresh in my brain. First of all, other than it being really cool, like it would have been neat to see this in theaters, especially when he's just on his rampage through the French peeps. I think it would have been really cool to experience. What am I trying to say? I keep backtracking in my mind.
Bro, just fucking free ball it, man.
And
Say what you want to feel.
quite literally, the light bulb just came on. But it was cool to see the change in the lore because again, where like you can always go forwards, but like it was really genius of Dan Trachtenberg, I think it's how you say his name, to go backwards in time because not only with the whole thing with the Comanche tribe and then like the Native American weapons and seeing the old like muzzle loader weapons and what the French were using and using knives, like the Predator's technology was not quite as advanced as what we see 300 years later in 1987.
I know, it was like they
And
were using bows and arrows too. They were using their version of bows and arrows and sticks and rocks.
Yeah. It was really cool to see that. And I do like the fact that I feel like there's more to do with the Predator character right now. Like Aliens is awesome, but I've just always felt more of like a personal. I don't know. I've always liked Predator a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll say this. With what we got here, there's more room to grow with the Predator. What more can you do with Aliens in regards to like making them like evolve without like taking away what xenomorphs usually look like? I mean, we all were kind of frightened, but we didn't like the Prometheus xenomorphs that we got. Not the actual xenomorphs; those are pretty dope. But like the weird offsprings that we got, like it was weird. People didn't even like the Predator / xenomorph. Requiem. People didn't like that one either.
I wasn't wild about that one. I gotta say.
People wanted the xenomorph to look like the xenomorph because they're so iconic. So to like change the way they look would be doing a disservice to the franchise in and of itself. Yeah. With Predator on the hand, we love the fact that because they set up the lore already in the beginning where it's like, and they built up from it since the Arnold Schwarzenegger days, and it was this fact right here. Its literally main objective is to hunt and find its next biggest threat to hunt, and if one of them dies, guess what? They evolve, they learn quick because. Yeah. It was in the movie. It was in the Predators movie, the one I'm just seeing right now with Adrian Brody, where Lawrence Fishburne was saying like, see, like they learn quick. Like they say you kill one, they come back with 3, had already learning the mistakes of that first one.
Yeah,
and they like evolve left and right. Like as you watch the movies over the course of the years of these Predator movies, you see that their technology is advanced over the years, and I think when it came down to that last Predator movie, I think the technology kind of got like a little bit more like extravagant than what's it called, applicable to like real world stuff. So I think that's where they kind of lost their edge, dare I say. So
yeah,
coming back to like Prey and seeing like a Comanche version of a Predator was so freaking refreshing to see him wear a skull helmet and to like see him, act as a scavenger, act the same way as Naru acted, when she finally set out to go hunt the Predator.
I remembered my point from earlier, and this kind of goes into talking about the franchise and stuff. And listen, if J-Dead was here, he would say that I had like the biggest pin stroke of my life because I really did. I was literally mumbling for that like a minute and a half. I apologize. Trying to remember what I forgot, but it was really nice to see the Predator on the screen again. Like it had been a while. I mean, like, that's a long time. We, like you said, we've gotten Prometheus, we've gotten a couple of other Alien films, but we really haven't had anything Predator for a while. So it was cool to see him again. And it, not only that, but it was cool to kind of play around with his weaponry and play around with, you know, with the lore of the Predator species, because that was something. Listen, Predators gets dogged on. Like, people
I'm
say
about to
that they
say it's been
cannot
4 years.
stand 4 years.
Yeah, since the last Predator movie.
When was the what?
The Predator. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, not many people liked it, so I mean, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
I didn't honestly. I don't know if I don't know that I've seen the Predator now that I think about it.
That one had
I
like
forgot about it. So that
Olivia
yeah
Munn and like Boyd Holbrook in there. Yeah, it was like genetically enhanced predators, and I was like, ugh, no, I'm done with
yeah
that.
I don't even know if I saw that. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I forgot that movie
Mm.
existed. But
Keegan Michael Key was in that too, so if
it
that says anything.
it doesn't sound very good the way you just described it.
No,
um,
it wasn't all that.
but you know, something that Predators did that I really, really, really love, and it doesn't get enough credit because people want to dog on it and say that it's one of the worst entries in the entire franchise, even worse than AVP Requiem, which I think the first AVP is really good. I think the second one is kind of a step down, but
I mean, the Requiem there, like even though it was like a terrible story, they didn't hold back and who was dying and who was
yeah,
not.
oh
They
no, they didn't
literally,
at all.
literally, the xenomorph impregnated a pregnant woman
I know,
and
right?
created
Yeah,
and created a
yeah.
xenomorph based off that. That was
Well,
as low as you can go in regards of like alien movies.
the thing is, like, the thing that Predators did. First of all, I really liked the cast. I'm a big Adrian
Hmm.
Brody fan, but I like that they like did different species of predator, and like they played around
Yeah, they
with.
built the lore properly.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but it was like we're on their turf now. You know what I mean? It wasn't the predator
Hmm.
trying to hunt on human turf. It was humans trying to survive in the predator's world. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, you can only do so much, you know, to make it. And even everything from like the two predators fighting, like the OG style versus like the new style that was all like red, and like the design was different. Speaking of, the design was slightly different on this one too, so that it kind of makes me wonder, was this another species of predator that's not necessarily like the same one that we have seen in the past?
Bro,
You know what I
like
mean?
the age, like literally the Wild West was like, I don't know, like fucking hundreds of years ago, man. Like they like this is like one of the first iterations of the Predator. Like this was the Predator coming to Earth now was their version of what's her name? Naru's I forgot what it's called. Do you remember what it's called?
What
Her
do you mean?
way
What it's
her
called?
coming of age, like going into the woods and
Oh,
finding something to hunt.
I'm not even gonna try
Yeah,
to remember
that
what
word
it's
is
called.
insane.
Yeah.
So that word, guys, it was I think it was like their version of going out and doing stuff, which makes
Yeah.
sense because that's what it's always been for every predator. It's going out
Right.
and finding your kill
Mhm.
or and coming back with like, respect.
Yeah.
But I'd say with this one, like, bro, this predator and prey. I loved him. I loved him. I
I did
didn't
too.
like how he was. The only thing I didn't like was his was some of the technologies that he used. I was like, bro,
It
why
was
do you have that?
different. It was a little bit
Yeah.
different. Like, um, it was it was cool. So I'll tell you what I really liked about this too. And another thing that made it really genius that they chose to set this 300 years in the past. It was cool see, because you have to remember, like, you know, in Predator from 87, and in Predator 2, and in Predators, and in pretty much every other iteration of this, it's been in the modern era. You know what I mean? The 70s and later.
Hmm.
This is the first time, you know, they've never seen technology before. They don't know what lasers are. They, you know what I mean? They don't know what any of that is. So it was really cool seeing Naru and the rest of the Comanche people trying to like figure him out. And like that was when she started realizing, like, you know, like when she had those little orange flowers that like pretty much, I guess it's like, I kind of got it like it was like not
Those are
morphine.
pretty much opioids.
Yeah,
like
it was pretty
morphine.
much,
Those are pretty much that.
yeah.
He saw how they acted when they took it. They just started like shaking vigorously. I was like,
I
bro,
know,
is that
yeah.
is that
I know,
tar? Is
right?
that black tar heroin? Is that
Yeah,
what
I
we're
don't know
getting
what it
at?
was, but man, it worked. But like even seeing her learn, like seeing her like what the like when she figured out what the lasers meant, when the guy had this bow drawn and he said we got him and she said no, he's got us, and she rolled him over and like the arrow shot
Mm-hmm.
past and they ran. Her also like trying like when she realized when douchebag who taught her how to use it. Well, I guess he was okay. The guy who spoke Comanche, when he taught her how to use the gun and he had part of his leg cut off and whatever, and she helped him.
Oh
When
yeah,
she
that
was
guy.
like, when she was like, after he ate the orange flowers and he was like, she can't see, like he can't see her or he can't see him, like that, like seeing her learn how to fight him was really, really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned this yet. Miguel's least favorite horror movie trope is the dog dying, and the dog made it. The dog survived to the end of this
That's
movie.
why I didn't talk about it, because he made it. There
He
were
survived.
multiple scenarios where he could have easily have
I
died
know.
with the bear and the predator
Yeah.
about several times. And I was like,
Yeah.
bro, please, for the love of God, they kill this dog. He's such a good dog. So yeah,
Well,
this
no.
dog is literally the MVP of the fucking movie. Like he has
Yeah.
saved Naru like 6 times in this movie,
Yeah.
and I am 100% for it. So they should give the dog leader of the Comanche, because if I'm being honest, he did most of the work. No, I'm kidding.
Listen,
Naru definitely is the main story. But
if it wasn't for the dog, she wouldn't have got her final blow to get him in the quicksand and stuff.
that's true.
She wouldn't have. The dog is what gave her. Because
Yeah.
remember, he had the axe when she made like the axe on the string that like went back and forth, which was sick. It was really, really cool.
Can we talk about the 1719 version of fucking Stormbreaker or Mjolnir?
It really was.
Bro, let me say this.
Dope.
The physics of that leashed fucking axe or tomahawk,
pretty sick.
Highly unlikely. Kids, do not ever try that. Don't think that's a great weapon. But in this movie, fucking baller. Her scene fighting the Frenchman, like that was, for instance, that was her showing her skills that she got from like Legion. Her fucking up these Frenchmen over there was fucking dope. It really set the tone of like, oh, she's actually a badass. So she could definitely, because like, she had that whole monologue of like, the Predator never saw me as a threat, and then she looked up to the distance like, oh, I guess I never was a warrior.
Yeah.
I was like, shut up. You're gonna do something that's badass.
I liked that it was pretty, we hit the ground running, but like we took the time even at the beginning of the movie to get to know Naru and to get to know the Comanche people, and to kind of take a look at her life. Like you said before, she's got this inner struggle. She wants to be a hunter, a warrior, but everybody else is telling her no, you just need to stay behind, you need to do what you're meant to do, yada yada yada. First of all, everybody that she's friends with, they were all dicks in this movie.
Well, I mean, that was back in like medieval times where like everyone had their status quo.
This wasn't medieval though.
Okay, but it was back, bro. It was like it's 1719, dude. That was back when like usual like that shit didn't end till like the fucking 60s with the emancipation of women. But like back then, you had your roles. Like the women were the gatherers, men were the hunters. Yeah, but
I like
that was really like the main motive of the movie was like, because the mother was like, Naru, why do you want to go hunt? Like, why do you want to be a hunter? And Naru just looked at her mother like, and like basically like denied her entire existence, was like, because you didn't tell me, because they tell me I can't do it. And I was like, God damn it.
It was cool though. Like I enjoyed that we took the time to get to know her character, and you could get in it. They gave you time to get invested in her story and what she wanted to do.
They really did.
They did, and even there was even quite a bit of build up to the Predator actually making its first appearance too. Like, when at the beginning of the film, when her and the dog are trying to hunt the deer, and she sees like through the clouds the ship like coming to Earth or whatever, like that was pretty dope. When she's fighting the lion up on the thing, and like right before she falls, well, the reason she falls, when she looks over and she sees the Predator laser and like the flashing of the light and stuff in the trees, like that was sick. That was really, really, really cool. Like there were a lot of the build up to the first time we actually really like saw him was really, really cool. And I appreciated how they did that. It felt, a lot of people said it feels just like the original. I don't think it feels just like the original because it's gonna be hard. I mean, it's like I don't try to keep bringing Halloween into this, but it's like when you try to recreate the original Halloween. Like you're never going to create the same amount of suspense as that created because when the first Predator came out in 87, nobody knew what a predator was. They were establishing that lore for the first time. So you
Yep.
didn't know what to expect. This film, it was kind of like that because we thought we were going to get normal Predator with the whole face shield and the when he like takes the mask off and whatever, and like all the
And it
technology,
ends up it
laser
not
gun.
being, yeah.
Yeah, it ends up being a little bit different than you would expect it to be, and I appreciated
Mm-hmm.
that. And the kind of what they did with the lore of the Predator itself, I thought that was really, really neat too.
Bro,
So
there was something in this movie that I was like kind of like I wanted to talk about the movie and kind of like shred the movie in half about it, but I found out through further research that like, bro, we had lions in the states.
yeah, yeah, we had a lot of
I
stuff in
did
North
not
America.
fucking know that
Yeah,
at
we
the
did.
time. So when he kept saying like, the lion was actually your kill. I was like, bitch, we never had lions
We
here.
did.
Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck are you talking about? It's an
yeah, that was a
African
thing.
thing. And then I found out, holy shit, we really did have lions. Like, holy
Yeah.
fuck, take the
Well,
shit out of my mouth.
I didn't realize when we saw the French people, I was like, what? But I did a little bit of research and like there were, when North America was during the time when like European nations were starting to clash with Native Americans in North America, like the French were there around Louisiana and those areas, like doing fur trapping. So like they were trying, they were
Bro,
hunting, they were trying to get fur and things like that. Like,
did
what
you
do you mean?
not think the French were there?
Well, I just wondered like I wanted more context like historically why they did that.
Bro,
But
the
I
French
do
and
think
Indian War. What do you mean?
yeah, but
That's like one of the
I don't
first
know.
words we learned in
Well,
civils America.
I will say I think they did their research with the
I would
Comanche
agree.
thing with, I think they did a good job with that. And it was just enough, like it was just enough to pay it respect without being overbearing, without being too much. Even at the end of the movie, it says dedicated to the Comanche people. If you look on Hulu, there's a Comanche cut. Like the entire movie is in that native language, which is pretty awesome.
That is dope.
That's
That was
really
one thing I was
cool.
gonna mention about the movie that like all I was kind of upset with the when I first saw the movie and I realized that they were speaking like English.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, too
Yeah.
modern.
I actually thought the same thing. And I was like, well, I'm going to suspend disbelief a little bit because if you, it wouldn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It would be hard to
Yeah.
sit and watch it was like an hour and 40 minutes or so. I mean, it would be hard to sit and watch almost a 2 hour movie when you're not understanding a single thing they say. So like as Rosalia said, my only gripe with Prey is they speak too modern for the 1700s where it's set. And I did think
Bro,
the same thing, but I can kind of suspend my
have you seen
disbelief with that one.
Apocalypto? Have you seen Apocalypto though?
No.
Apocalypto is
No.
entirely in Mayan language.
Are you
And
serious?
the entire movie is in that language. And it's still a fucking baller movie. Like let me like that's an if you like this movie and you're kind of like
I'll
upset
have to go check
with
that
the
out.
like it being like too modern language, check out Apocalypto, guys. It is a baller movie. It's pretty much about these smaller time like group of Mayan people that end up getting kidnapped and sent to like the actual the other tribes or whatever, and it's this like Mayan warrior or whatever, and he gets kidnapped as well. But he left his pregnant wife, back in a well to be hidden. But the rain, there was storms coming left and right, so the well was flooding, and she was pregnant with her kid, and she also had another kid. So his goal is to get out of his to escape his kidnappers and get back to his wife that's currently like being like flooded by a storm. Like, yeah, dude, and entirely in I forgot what language it is, but I'm sure it's Mayan or whatever. But yeah,
Solid.
it's Apocalypto. It came out in 2006.
Yeah,
And
Rosalia agrees
dude,
with you. She says, great movie.
it is a dope movie. Yeah. Our
Rest in peace,
Peoples.
our
Yeah.
peoples.
Yeah, there
All
you
right,
go.
I'll have to check
If you
that
want
out.
good representation, that's a good movie, man. It's a decent movie. At
That's
the
cool.
end too is so wild. So
That's cool, man. What's up, Jansen? That's my cousin, and he says Pete says hi, so my dad's saying hi. My dad's
oh
he's
hey man.
out of town right now. Um, but yeah, man. And Rosa, you make a good point too. Where was that? Where was that comment? She says, "I like that they kept the story simple. It did feel simple.
Yep.
Like it didn't feel overly complicated, and that's exactly what you want with." That's something that I think a lot of a big trend right now is that a big trend, like, well, again, I'm sorry, look at what they're doing with Halloween, like, and what they're about to do with The Exorcist. Like, they're going back and doing a sequel to the original film, or I know that's not exactly what they're doing with this, but they're doing a prequel to the original film. It's you're building, like you said before, you're building the lore, but you have to do it in a smart way. You can't do too much, or else it's gonna screw with things way too much. And I thought this did a really good job of, it gave you some things. It kind of gave you an idea of the technology that the Predators had at the time, and kind of how human beings would deal with coming into contact with the Predator for the first time. And it was really, really cool to see that. I think this movie did a really good job of adding just enough to the lore, adding just enough without being too overbearing. It's something that I think, I look at Halloween 2018 and I look at Halloween Kills, and I'm like, 2018 did a good job, but Kills was just a lot all at once. You know what I mean? It was a lot of characters. It was a lot of stuff. All at once. And I love that movie. I have my poster up, back behind this light behind me. But I thought this did a really good job. Again, similarly to what Predators did. I thought Predators added just enough. Like, we don't ever need to see the Predators planet, you know what I mean? I know we've seen glimpses and stuff, like and like there was the scene at AVP where, do you remember that scene where it was like the King Predator, like they came to get the body, like the ship and everything, like she was standing there, like, because they kind of got like okay with
And
the human again.
AVP.
Yeah, and AVP, and there were like all the Predators like around her, like, and they took his body and he gave her his sword, and then they left, and it was like a mutual respect thing between the humans and the Predators. Like, that was kind of cool to see. So I don't
Well,
know.
that's
I
they
thought they
set
did a
the
really good job
they
of that.
set the tone with like in that movie they really set the tone in regards to like they don't consider human beings as just livestock. Like they consider them like a formidable
Right.
a formidable opponent.
Which is why
So
they
but
hunt them.
only yeah, so only so like that's why with that when that comment came out with Naru when she said she's only considered a threat, it's like, well, that's only because like you haven't shown them like you could be a threat.
Right.
Because with that lady, I forgot what her name is in Alien versus Predator, like she was able to kill a xenomorph queen.
Yeah.
And when the, I guess, chief predator came out and saw that she gained her respect with her first kill of a xenomorph given by the previously deceased predator, the king predator was like, fuck, that's all I needed to see.
The King
God
Predator.
respects you.
The King Predator saw
Just
them. All the other Predators saw her kill the Queen Xenomorph, and they were like,
bro, but really though, yeah, they did, because dead ass, they decloaked out of nowhere. Like they had already landed and saw that entire fight.
bro,
They
they
saw
were
their boy get fucking stabbed by the xenomorph queen.
they
They're
were getting
like,
ready to start like a world war with the Xenomorphs and like human beings.
no,
And they were like,
it was like
all
it
right.
was like a it was like a Dolph Lundgren kind of thing. He was like, if he dies, he dies, and they just move on. They're like, well, the
Yeah.
xenomorphs are here, so we can't particularly do much here. So,
Yeah.
but
I also
yeah,
like that the Predators, whenever one of the Predators dies, all the other ones are like, rest in peace. So
rest in
what can we
peace.
learn from this? Like,
Yeah,
here's something to not do when you're out hunting.
it's
So
very much the same case. It's like, listen, guys, if any of you guys want, like, hey, Bob Predator, if you want to come, you're going to Earth.
Bob
Read
Predator.
the file of Jerry, Terry, and George's fucking encounters in Earth and learn from their mistakes. All right, ready? Okay, we're shooting you down. 3, 2, 1, go.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome.
but on a serious note, yes. So the predators have always considered humans as like a formidable opponent,
Right.
but in this instance, it wasn't that case. It was the predator just saying like, who is worthy of the hunt at that point. They
Yeah.
didn't know anything about humans, so they just consider them like as simple as like a wolf when he took down the wolf, or the snake, or it wasn't the buffaloes, it was the bear. So like they were just trying to find the next big hunt. So this predator was fighting the bear, he saw Naru and was like, bro, I just got my ass kicked by a bear. Which, by the way, I will say this, that bear wanted all the smoke. All of the smoke, dog. That bear was about to like fuck Naru up and have her for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and
I know,
literally
right?
turned around and said, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
And then literally just wrecked his shit. Like I'm pretty sure we all thought that bear was gonna fuck up the predator, and that was gonna be it. And maybe we have more predators in this movie, but no, that bear got up, wrecked his shit. The predator stood right back up when the bear charged at him. I swear to God, he gave him like, for the predator gave the bear like a fucking Mike Tyson
I know,
version
right?
knockout right to the fucking chin and knocked him clean out. And I was like, oh my
He
God.
just hit him like it was like one punch to the dome and the bear was done. He didn't even have to he
Bear
didn't
was
have to
out.
stab him. He didn't have to. Well, that scene was so cool because it's like you're already like I had thought of that scene because that's really the first time like we see the predator do something wild. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
actually face a threat. Like I know we kind of saw him with the wolf, we saw him do the snake, but like we didn't necessarily get to see him do anything like an actual fight yet. And you have to think of
Mm-hmm.
that scene from Naru's perspective. Like you've never seen anything like this before. A
Yeah, you
bear
in
is
your
already
eyes,
like
a
you have a
bear is like
top
top
threat.
predator.
Like,
Yeah,
well,
top
you're
threat.
already hiding. You have a grizzly bear trying to kill you, and then something literally picks up like the scene when it picks up the grizzly bear over its head, and like you just barely like all you see is blood and water like coming down its
Mm-hmm.
body. I was like, oh, I was like, that is
Yeah,
one of the coolest predator shots we have ever gotten. Like 100%.
yeah.
It was absolutely awesome. Seeing that. And I don't know, like let's talk a little bit more. I was trying to pull up um some different images like of the original Predator of this Predator. What did you think of the design? Like, and not necessarily just the weapons, but like the design of the Predator himself.
Well, here, let me get a picture of him because I know you said something about this predator, and you said you
He
didn't
did,
know how you felt about it.
he did look a
But
little bit
in
different. You know what I
my
mean?
yeah, but like in my opinion is I absolutely fell in love with this predator right here. Like he definitely looked absolutely like mm,
What?
he looked
He looked
baller.
what? He looked like
He
what?
looked baller as fuck, dude, man. Like if you look at, obviously there's not much pictures of him because the movie had just came out, I guess. But out of all of the designs of the Predator, he looked absolutely insane with the helmet on. With the
Yeah.
helmet off, he looked really weird. I'm not gonna lie. That last scene with Naru and the Predator, whenever he had the shield down on her, that like the actual front face of what the Predator looks like. I didn't know how I felt about that. It's very Neanderthal like of a
Yeah.
predator, because they have like the big forehead, that
Mhm.
our species had as Neanderthals. We had like giant, like thick fucking foreheads. Like, bro, you could cook a fucking steak on that fucking thing because it's so massive. And I was like, I saw that and I was like, okay, so that kind of makes sense why they make them out to look that way, because this is like one of the first like iterations of the
Yeah.
Predator. Obviously, we don't know how far the Predator dates back, but for us as moviegoers, this is like our version of like the first iteration of the Predator. So,
Yeah. I'm trying to bear with me, folks. I'm trying to pull up a picture of. I've got a picture of the original Predator. I've got a picture of the variant Predator from Predators. That we're using the P word a lot.
are you
And
talking about the Berserker?
Is that what it was
But
called?
the berserker predator from Predators, like the higher, the
Yeah,
wolves of the Predator.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
just saw the
yeah,
movie, so obviously I've heard the phrase of it.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to find out what it. I don't know. I guess I can't find one without the mask on, which I guess is okay.
I swear to God, I'm gonna be able to find it so quick. Just look up berserker predator, and you'll find it.
But I'm
Because look
I'm
at here,
talking about the one from
found
this.
it
I'm talking about the one from
from
this.
this.
From Prey.
Well, I know, right? That's what's weirding me out about it because you can't find it. I found one,
I mean,
but
I have one. The only one I can find though is one with the helmet on, I didn't. I'll tell you. I think part of the design for me, what I didn't like, is the fact that it's just it, like okay. So looking at this version again, it has the helmet on. This is like a bone helmet. It doesn't necessarily. It's almost like they took bone, like they took the skull of. I don't know if this is a predator skull. It's like they took the skull of something and basically just built the technology, like the laser, into the skull, versus what you got with the original one, where you had the mask, like you had the helmet where they unplug it, like that's always like a. Even thinking back to the original '87 film, like that's always such a cool moment when you hear the hiss of like the pressure. As soon as they go to take the mask off, it's like. Psst, psst,
mm-hmm.
and then he always like they take their like pause and they go. I know, right? He like slowly wraps his fingers on it, and then it's like,
Yeah.
and he lifts it off, and then you see like the mandibles moving and stuff like that. Like it, I don't know. It's a really cool design for the original one. Looking at the OG, even like look at this version. This is the original design for the Predator, and this is like the normal
No,
one. This is what we get.
that's from the
No,
Predators
this is the
2000
original one.
and
This is from Predators. That's from Predators 2000. Because if you see this, this picture is the crazy new version of the Predator fighting the original version of the Predator from like Schwarzenegger's and from Predators 2 and stuff like that, or Predator 2. So like, there's different. I like that there's different like
species, different
species of them.
variants.
That's kind of cool. So, but yeah, I mean, this one was okay. Even look at the mandibles are in a different spot. Like, look at the mandibles on that one. Look at the mandibles on this one. His are like higher up. And then look at the mandibles on that one. His are more like even. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that goes to say, man, like this is like you're talking about predators right now. Like you're talking about a species that literally is only main objective in life is to evolve for the hunt. So like they're gonna look different consistently in every single movie. Like they have to look different in every single movie. Otherwise, like what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah.
Like they have to evolve every single time. So obviously we're gonna get different variants or different subspecies because they're consistently evolving. So
subspecies, that's a good term for it. Yeah. I still think let me ask you this. Out of all the designs, which one do you think you like the best so far?
I would say honestly, like in regards to like the design for like what I'm looking at right now, I would have to go with the OG. And I know I hate like praising the OG. If there was another design that looked way better, I will definitely acknowledge it. Yeah. But for this one right now, the OG Predator design is bar none like the most. I
agree.
The best design that I have to say right now.
Yeah. Like, let's be honest. And this scene in Predators from 2010,
it was pretty fucking wild though. When I saw it was pretty wild.
It was wild, but when you see the new species fighting the old species, like, let's be real, we were all rooting for the old, like for the.
We were rooting for the OG.
We were rooting for the original one, like we really were. And like even when he killed the original one, which I know it's not the original Predator, but I'm saying that like subspecies of them, like when the new subspecies killed the old subspecies, it was like, okay, Adrian Brody, it's your time, buddy. Like you gotta save us here. Like you gotta figure this out. Smear the mud on yourself. Do whatever you gotta do, but like channel your inner Schwarzenegger. But get to the chopper. Like you gotta figure this out, man. It's up to you. So yeah, I would agree. I think it's probably. I would say the older Predator is probably my favorite design of all of them. So, for Loops are
Yeah.
us. What's going on, my friend? He says, "Hey, she
Hello.
says, hey, CGI was not it." Yeah, there were honestly, I thought everything looked good except for the animals, like the lion,
No, I would
some of the
say
rabbits,
this.
like that stuff didn't look good. But the Predator looked.
That Yes, so the animals did not look good in regards of like the CGI. But I will say, like in regards to like a Hulu budget, they did pretty good with the
They did
special
do really
effects in
good.
regards of the Predator. When
I
it came
noticed there
down to
were
the
a lot of.
Predator versus the Frenchman and the Comanche, the visuals were pretty cool.
I will say, I know Fruit Loops are us. You said I didn't love the updated looks. I liked practical. I will say, I think mostly the Predator was practical because there's like somebody listed in the cast who actually played the Predator. I think for the most part the Predator's always been practical. I mean, obviously it's probably animatronics to do like the, you know what I mean, like the teeth moving and stuff like that and the mandibles, but I think it's pretty much always been like what they did with the OG Godzilla and Kong films where it was like actually a person in a suit. You know what I mean? I
I
think
think
for
that's why the
the most part,
Berserker.
it's somebody in a
That's
suit.
why I was gonna say. That's why I think the Berserker Predator didn't really hit. That's why all the other newer Predators didn't really hit because it was way too CGI, and it just wasn't it. Like we all love the moments where the Predator finally reveals his face from the mask, and it's like a full prosthetic mask, and he could see his I forgot what it's called, his fang just like move back and forth, do their own motion and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we all loved having that reveal, but we kind of lost that at during Predators because that was like the first CGI version of the Berserker Predator. So when we got it, it was like, whoa, what is this? But
Ah.
the CGI didn't really do it any favors.
Everybody,
So
listen. Everybody in the movie theater when the original Predator like revealed itself, or like, well, because the original one was tied up, right? I always love that scene too. We need to do it. We need to do all the Alien Predator movies. That can listen. That can be
I've
its own
said
season of.
I've already seen Predator with Adrian Brody because that's literally it's like one of my favorite, I would say.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying we need to do a rewatch and like we need to do those on Purely and Simply Evil. That could be a whole season, all of the Predator and Alien
It
movies.
could.
That'd be
It
awesome.
could.
But I love that scene when Adrian Brody realizes that like he needs help, like he needs some milk, and he's like, I have to cut the like the other like the Predator that we like. That like when he's like, I gotta cut this guy down to help me kill that thing. Like he walks up and he takes out the knife and the Predator's like tied up and he's looking at him and he's like, Adrian Brody gets up in his face and he's like, I'm gonna cut you down. Like, don't kill me. You know what I mean? And he cuts the Predator down and like he grabs him by the throat and then like sets him back down. Like I was like, bro, there's a human being working with a Predator to kill a bigger Predator.
Bro,
Like, what are like
which
this
is
is awesome. It's like the biggest
which is why I love the Predators, man, because they really do acknowledge like us humans as like formidable warriors. Like it's nice and it's like it's kind of comforting if you think about that, man. Like it's comforting to know that like if
but
Predators
the
do come down, they don't. Yeah, like they actually acknowledge the fact that like, oh shit, like this is actually like a fucking like he's actually a decent warrior. Damn, dude, that pour was actually pretty bad. I just poured like at least like that much more from that beer, so I did fuck that up. It's fine.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Like even you talked about we always look forward to the scene where they remove the mask or whatever. And when Taba actually like was that his name? Was it Taba?
Who?
Yeah, Tabe. Sorry, Tabe. When Tabe like when he's riding the horse and he hits him in the face and he turns and the mask flies off. When the helmet comes off and he finally turns his head and roars, I was like, you're sitting there, you're like, yep, that's what I was waiting for.
That's what we're waiting for.
We're waiting
for.
Like, you know, so it was cool, man. We still haven't even talked.
Can we first talk about like how like the Comanche people actually like held their own? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like
they did awesome.
Spec Op soldiers were getting wiped left and right in all of the other movies.
I know, right?
And you have Comanche people with with machine guns. And you have Comanche people with bows and arrows and fucking spears, and they're actually holding their own with them, like actually like hurting the fucking Predator. So I thought that was pretty dope. Showing how fucking like how much of a warrior the Comanche people were, because that's definitely something to behold of. Like that's something definitely take and consider when you're watching this movie. Like the Comanche people, they were warriors of their time. They were definitely the warriors of their time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was really, really cool. Like to see them hold their own, but also to see all of the jerk uh the French people, dude. I was like, you guys are awful. Like they had her in a cage. They kicking the dog and stuff. And honestly, that was one of the moments when her foot gets caught in the trap and the predator comes right up on her and then they hit her in the head. I was like, why didn't it kill them? I was thinking she was going to get away while the predator was attacking them. But when it cut to black and then she woke up, I was like, you know what I mean? I was like,
well, that's the thing. That's the thing. The predator. That's what Naru said. Is like Naru didn't. Naru said that the predator didn't consider her, you know, worth the hunt, and it would have been much easier to, you know, come out of nowhere and just fucking slash these Frenchmen and then take Naru. No, it'd be for the predator in this movie. It was much more of a hunt to say, okay, fine, take her, and then I know they're gonna be around somewhere, so let me hunt them instead,
yeah.
and then I'll take care of Naru because she's not really necessarily a threat. It's like, oh shit, the French people. Oh, we moved on to level 3. These people have shooting projectiles. I'm down with that. So
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Reginald, I do see you, buddy. You're moving in the chat a lot. Like I'm clicking back and forth between your stuff, and I know you were like, man, I'm not getting any smooches right now. I know I see your stuff. I'm in the zone and I'm clicking back and forth, but I have like 7 different screens up right now. But yeah, it was cool. And listen, that we didn't really talk about the whole the slaughter scene in depth, but dude, when her and her brother are tied up and the French people are like they're surrounding them, they're trying to kill the predator. When you see like the dudes on the horses in the background, as soon as I saw his body cut in half and slide off the horse,
yeah,
I was like, here we go. I was like, this is it.
here we go.
And as soon as they turned around, like, could you imagine, like, you have all these people with horses behind you, and you turn around and their bodies are just like in pieces on the ground. Like, that would be awesome. And then the predator like revealed himself and he was walking towards him. I was like,
and you got to think these Frenchmen had like probably the most advanced like technology.
Oh
like,
yeah,
of that time.
At least in weaponry.
And you know the predator. Yeah.
In terms
and then
of
the predator just makes them look into like fucking meat chud. Yeah, it was fucking impressive.
It was awesome, man. Even that whole scene, like it was like a constant. It was like they were all coming at him and trying to fight him and shoot at him and do guns and whatever else, and like just he was just going to town. Even some of his tech, I was like, I almost couldn't keep up with as much tech as he was using. Like to get their weapons off of him and to stop their weapons in the shield and throwing. I was like, whoa. I was like, we just used like 17 different weapons in a span of like a minute and a half. Like, what just happened right now?
So I was gonna say that too, because like the Frenchmen actually like were able to like catch the predator for like a brief second.
Yeah.
And that means a lot in regards of like how far this predator dates back. Because you gotta think, the predator that, you know, we got in the original, like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger years, like that predator would have never gotten caught by those fucking Frenchmen. So to see the predator go down for the count by the Frenchman for like a brief second was absolutely impressive. But then as soon as he's able to get his bearings in and use the technology that he has and made the fucking Frenchman, you know, fucking sawdust, I was like, nice.
Yeah, dude, you know which one got me? The net. When he shot
net, that was such a staple though.
And I know, but that's another one. That's like, okay, we've seen that before, but it's sick though. It just like
still sick.
I was like, oh, it's messed up. I'm not gonna lie, I really did kind of miss the laser on the shoulder. Because that's like my favorite predator weapon. I did miss that a little bit. As soon as I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the laser come out, I was like, oh, I was like, this is it. He's gonna use the laser, and then it was like an arrow, and I was like, what?
What?
I was like, really?
I kind of figured I would have been slightly disappointed if they had the lasers, because again, it's an evolving thing with the Predators. Like I would like to see what they had before they had the lasers. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So it's pretty cool to have to see that they have like heat seeking fucking arrows that, like, as based on where the laser is pointed. So
yeah, I agree, man. Real quick, let's go over. I know we don't put too much stuff. Well, before we do that, we're gonna look at the Rotten Tomato stuff in just a second before we move on to Nope. But real quick, what'd you like, or what did you think of the ending with, like what happened with Naru? She got her warrior thing. Her brother died. Like, I thought it was a very full. Her story arc was really well done, like beginning to end. I was like, it feels like, I don't know. It felt normal. It did.
it felt like, no, I'll say that this story is very well put together because it was so simple and it was pretty much like, take it in this perspective. It would be the same scenario, or it'd probably be the same feat if Naru was able to kill the bear and bring it to their people. If the whole thing happened and it was but it was from a bear, it would have still been the same amount of weight for her. It just so happens it was an alien. So
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool to see in regards to the fact that, like, in regards to the fact that her story of like her wanting to be a hunter, and people
Right.
always telling her like, well, she can't do it. She can't do it. She's only supposed to be a gatherer because she's a woman. But imagine if it was a bear and she was able to take it down. The people would have been just as happy. And her taking down the Frenchman, because obviously you can see that she could take down the Frenchman.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the fact that it was aliens, it didn't tear away from the actual story of uh of Naru trying to, like, make it on her own and actually become a
Yeah.
warrior and and be acknowledged by her people. So the story in itself, at the end, when you have Naru holding the fucking predator head and having the blood, where she usually does her black paint, and just dropping it at her feet and is like, I'm leading the charge now. We have to move west,
Yeah.
or something like that. I
Yeah.
thought that was so fucking dope. And it was so similar to how what was it, Tabe, the brother, how he came back with the Jaguar, and how he's able to, like, officially become like the war chief or whatever. So seeing Naru become the war chief at the end of the movie and officially taking charge, just beautiful, man.
Yeah. It was a
Which, by
really
the
good
way,
story arc for her.
the
Oh,
scenery of this movie itself was beautiful too.
I don't know where it was shot, but it looked incredible. I mean, every
Yeah.
single shot, I was like, "This is gorgeous." I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. Might have been shot. I don't know if it was. I mean, it was definitely like Midwest somewhere. Not like Illinois, but I mean, it was somewhere on the western side of the U.S. It was pretty cool, man. So, real quick, let's check out the Rotten Tomatoes stuff. Again, we don't ever put too much stock into this, but it's a fun talking point just to see what other people have said about a flick. So it's got a
And it's full of content.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes, 79% audience score. It's kind of rare that you see not really a horror film, but a horror-esque film that has a higher certified score than an audience score. I think that's kind of interesting. Let's see what some people said. Adam Kemp, I don't even know how to say your name, my friend. The rare franchise installment that finds a fresh, compelling spin on the material while also effectively drawing inspiration from the original without being suffocated by it. And that's what I said earlier. Like, I think that's a really good way to put this. I mean, it really, really, it did justice to the franchise. It did justice to the original, but it also still brought something new to the table. And I think it's really, really cool that they managed to do that. I really, really enjoy that. Trachtenberg took an unprecedented risk and succeeded. Do you think this movie was a risk, Miguel?
I would say, because Trachtenberg, he directed The Boys, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a well-known director.
Yeah.
So he's doing a pretty good job in regards to his career right now. So for him to take on Prey, which is, the Predator, is always, it started to become like a lackluster
Yep.
franchise where it's like, oh, we're just gonna keep throwing movies out like that. So for him to come out of the gate and be like, no, I'm making a decent Predator movie,
Yeah.
it was a big risk. And when we talked about the movie when it first came out with the cover, we were skeptical of it too at the first time. Like we were like, I don't know, this is gonna be a good one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I really I like what this person said here. Wendy eyed a prequel to the Predator series that stays true to the essence of the original, stylishly violent, sickly graphic, impossibly tense, while also working satisfyingly as a self-contained entity. And that's again, that goes back to the simplicity of the story. Like the story was simple. And
Mm-hmm.
I really, really appreciate that. I like that it was a simple story. I like that there wasn't it wasn't too crowded. It wasn't too much. It was just a well-told
It
story
wasn't too
within this world.
crowded. I like that.
Yeah, it really wasn't, and then I really, really, really appreciate that. Breathlon Ruth Merriman says a thrilling and suspenseful horror action adventure. The filmmakers incorporate the indigenous cultural aspect in a clever way that works for the story, featuring a phenomenal female protagonist who's a force to be reckoned with. And I completely agree with everything that those people said. Amber Midthunder absolutely killed it. Dan Trachtenberg delivered a really, really, really good Predator film again that added a lot to the lore, but it also gave us something new that we hadn't seen before as well. So I think for me, this one's a 9 out of 10 for me, believe it or not. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome.
I would say it's probably like I would agree with you. It's probably like a 9.1 for me, honestly, because it's definitely like a pretty solid movie out of the entire franchise.
Yeah, I really, really liked it, man. It was awesome. So let's move on to Nope. I know we're about an hour and 22 minutes in. Again, in our 80th episode, we just reviewed Prey, and now we're about to review. We're about to review. That's the word I was going for. Jordan Peele's Nope, which there's actually a little bit of a funny story about this. But I want to do something. Hang on. By the way.
What happened?
No, I wanted to get something because I thought about this
Okay.
when we were talking about AVP earlier, and I was talking about AVP earlier. I have the box set. It's unrated versions of both Unrated Action, Unstoppable.
I know, right? Back when it was like that. Back when it was like unrated.
I know, right? But it's got like both of them, and it's got the unrated version of AVP, but it's also got the unrated version of Requiem. Dude, I remember I thought that poster was sick. Like the earth like exploding and
yeah, even though that's probably like the worst like graphics ever like nowadays. Like yeah, that's like I could make that on Microsoft Word right now.
Well, even again, look at the back. More blood, more guts, more gore. Slam bang horror action. Like it's just so 2000
from Daily Variety.
I know.
It was
but it's a neat little box set. So we'll get to the whole Alien and Predator franchises at some point. But moving on to Nope finally. So here we are. So there's a little bit of a story here. We actually went to go and see Nope earlier in the week, and we were like, hey, we're gonna go to Spirit Halloween before. We're gonna get some content out of this. We're gonna go see Nope. We're gonna go eat some dinner. We're gonna go to Spirit Halloween. Get to Spirit Halloween, it's closed. Get to the restaurant we're gonna go to, closed. So we ended up eating in the food court at the mall before we went and saw Nope. So
wait, which I mean, I don't mind. It was very high school esque, if you ask me.
I know it really was. It was a very, very it was a very, very high school esque thing.
It was very much bring my daughter home by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it was. Except I was the daughter and you were my date. I did not get home by 10.
Oh, okay.
The movie didn't start until 9. I didn't get home until.
Neither did I, dude. Which, by the way, y'all need to show us previews. Cinemark. Jesus Christ. There was like 27 previews, my man. I was like, bro, what was the point of me even coming here at 8:30?
I know, right?
Movie didn't start to fucking 9. It was 30 minutes, bro. You know how the term is, oh, don't worry, we got 15 minutes of previews. No, dog, it was like 30 minutes of
Yeah,
previews. I was like,
it did feel like kind of a lot. It was cool seeing the Halloween Ends trailer on the big screen, though. We hadn't gotten
it
that
was
yet.
pretty
That
cool.
was
Yeah.
kind of cool to be able to see that.
Well, I'll say this: do you like the vibes of the trailer? Having seen it what's in the theater?
The Halloween Ends trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, my thoughts on the Halloween Ends trailer really haven't changed all that much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was awesome to see. I don't know. I thought it was awesome to see that. So it was pretty cool. So let's talk Nope, man. Jordan Peele's Nope. It's his third film, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun as well. All fantastic actors. Had a really, really stacked cast. The phone is ringing, by the way. That's what you're hearing. Like it was different. And as I said in our quick little review after we walked out of the theater, this one solidified for me. I liked Get Out. Us, honestly, it's been a while. I'd have to watch Us again to really make a fair assessment of that film. But I really, really liked Nope, and it took me about a half hour or so for me to really get invested in what was happening with Nope. But once I was invested, I was
Very
like,
true.
okay, I'm here. Like, I'm
Very
not gonna
true.
lie. Well, and part of the issue is that I don't know. Part of the issue is that I think I spent a lot of the first half of this movie trying to guess what was happening. Because again, something that that Jordan Peele, I almost said Daniel Kaluuya, something that Jordan Peele has proven he does very well is he takes, and you had mentioned this in that review as well, he takes horror tropes and he takes things that you think you're going to know what happens and he puts his own spin on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the thing is, like, I don't know. I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. A lot of people compare Jordan Peele to John Carpenter. Like, they say he's a modern day John Carpenter. And while I do agree with that, I also think that he's got a little bit of Stephen King to him. Like, Stephen King, if you look at what Stephen King does with his stories, Stephen King look at what he did with Pennywise for It. He takes something that's scary already. Like, he takes clowns, but he changes it, and he did like a clown and a spider. Like, he puts his own twist on it. And I feel like that's what Jordan Peele has done with Nope. I mean, he took something, UFOs, he took something that was already scary, that like a lot of people are afraid of aliens and like the idea of aliens and UFOs and all that stuff. And he took something that was already scary and he put his own twist on it. Like, that was a twist at the end, which we'll get to that in a few minutes. Again, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the film yet. That was something I would have never expected. Like, I would not have expected, like, what happened with the UFO at the end of that film. Like, it was very, very out there, but it worked. And honestly, that was about the point where Kaluuya goes back to get Lucky from Steven Yeun's farm. Like, that was kind of the point where I was like, okay, I'm in now. Like, which was about the halfway point in the film, and I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, I get what's going on. I got it. Like, you know what I mean? I really got what's happening now. What were your overall thoughts on it before we get super spoiler heavy?
Well, I was gonna mention and go further with like what you said with Jordan Peele's filmmaking is because I'm reading an article from Looper by Matthew Jackson, because he says one of the pros of the movie was the story delivers the blockbuster goods while twisting tropes in a new and interesting way, and that is by far one of the best things I could say about the movie in and of itself was the fact that like Jordan Peele really just set the tone for the movie. gave you everything that you ever wanted in regards of like what a horror movie is, but also put his different spin on it. So like I thought it was definitely one of those movies where it's like, you kind of know what you're gonna go see, like an alien movie, blah 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 blah, but then like it transitions to something like completely fucking different.
Right.
So I would say with Jordan Peele, his way of filmmaking is still one of my favorite, coming from coming into the horror genre very fairly new. So I would say that in regards to like this movie in particular, I don't want to quote, his three movies right now, but I would say that this is, another strong installment for his career or filmography. So yeah.
Well, and I saw something the other day. Like, I think all three of his films have surpassed $100 million, which is a really big achievement. So, congrats to Jordan Peele on that. But I would say this is probably, at least in my opinion, some people may disagree with me. I think this is his strongest film yet. I think it kept you guessing, it kept you wondering what was coming next, but it also, it was also new and different, and it kind of it never felt stale necessarily. I think part of what, it wasn't that it was slow at the beginning. It was so out there, and it was so many different things. It was like I couldn't, usually you can kind of start to put a film together after like the 30-minute mark, and we had hit that 30-minute mark, and I'm like, I'm not, other than the fact that it's a UFO, I'm not necessarily putting all of this together. You know what I mean? And until the point when, even like I even had to ask Miguel at one point. Again, we're getting into spoiler territory now. When Daniel Kaluuya's character OJ, when OJ realizes that the UFO is the alien, there's not aliens inside of it. It is the being. When he realized that, I was like, what? Like when Keke Palmer and what's his face, the Best Buy guy, Angel.
Yeah.
I have IMDb pulled up too. When Angel when they're in the house, I was like, whoa, like this is a little strange. Like it took me a second to really like understand when he called Keke Palmer and like the blood started pouring down the house, that was sick. That was
because at that moment, Brad was kind of skeptical of this movie, and he was mentioning, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this movie, and then the fucking blood shower happened with the UFO, and I was like, that's probably one of the most sickest fucking aliens scenes I've seen in horror, for that matter, in a long time. Like that was it was very, and I'd agree with you right there, very Stephen King, if I should say. That was very Stephen King, of just having that entire fucking spaceship just puke out all of its victims.
Do you see what I'm saying about the Stephen King thing though? Like I almost, or horror fans don't hate me, but I almost get more Stephen King vibes than I do John Carpenter vibes.
I would agree, because he's making his own universe. If you think about it.
What'd you say?
Yeah. He's making his own universe in that matter. Like with Stephen King, there were so many like out of pocket like stories, like all of his other ones, like Stephen King's It and The Shining and The Man in the Tower, like all of that. Like when you finally understand what was going on in regards to Stephen King's world, it was like, holy shit, that's fucking bonkers.
I know.
So I would say Jordan Peele is definitely like planting the seed for all of us in regards of like, I don't know, there's gonna be something massive coming that's gonna be insane when it finally comes out. So
yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know, it was really cool, man. Like it was a twist that I was kind of like, oh, like when the alien turns into the butterfly. I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought to myself,
bro,
when it turns into the butterfly thing from the UFO, I thought of Heimlich from A Bug's Life. I'm a beautiful butterfly. Like that's like what I thought of when that scene happened. Like it was kind of strange. I was like, it's kind of pretty.
No, but do you realize the design of that alien? Like at the end when he became like the giant fucking creature, like that design looks so similar to like like the biblical description of what an angel looks like.
I
Have you ever
I
looked that up?
I don't know.
Guys, if you guys know what I'm talking about, look up the biblical description of an angel.
I
Like
wonder
I
if that
forgot
was
what it's
on
called.
purpose on Jordan
I
Peele's
was
behalf.
definitely on purpose because they say about it that like you can't see this angel because you're not allowed to, because it was literally like you burn up, like you would not survive taking one glance
Hmm,
at this angel. And it's
interesting.
the same thing with this fucking movie. It's like, don't look up, don't look at the spaceship, because if you do, you're gonna die, you're gonna be fucking devoured. So it's very it I love that like theme that he had, or that idea that he like kind of twisted in his head. He used that fear of like, oh, if I have ever seen an angel, like, is it going to be beautiful or and majestic and like euphoric, or is it going to be absolutely terrifying and completely mind busting? Like, Jordan Peele used that fear that we have of angels and put it in this fucking movie with the spacecraft. So, and that's why I told you at the beginning of the when we did the review in the street, you didn't understand what I was telling you about, like, this kind of like a Jaws, like the first Jaws movie in my head. Do you see where I'm coming from now?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like, yeah,
Miguel made a comment to me when we walked out of the theater, and he was like, "There were a lot of Jaws references in that," and I was like, "What?" It's like I didn't get any Jaws references, but I could kind of see. Um, it's not. I don't know if it was super uh,
not directly on the nose.
purposeful or direct, but it's there.
Hmm.
You know, we talked about the guessing game thing a little bit. Like a lot of the film had me guessing because of um because like okay, thinking back to the very beginning when we see the chimp, and like the chimp thing made sense, but really, do you realize we never really got like a ton of, did the chimp just go crazy? What was the shoe standing up? Like, was that aliens? What exactly caused the chimp to do what he did? And like I said, you know, you and I talked about that. I know things like that happen where animals turn on their trainers and turn on the people closest to them and stuff like that. But that never really, you know, got a full on um, explanation. The
So
stuff at
the
the beginning,
shoe,
like, okay,
had zero. I could not connect the shoe for nothing. That shoe is still a fucking puzzle to me. But with the chimp and the whole incident that happened, Jordan Peele's main motif of the movie is, what sacrifices are you willing to make to, like, it's the terrible business of our entertainment. Like, what sacrifices are you willing to take for entertainment? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like the sacrifices so many people take in the entertainment world to just entertain us as viewers. Like, what do we do? Do we like purposefully, like, take this monkey out of its world and force him to be like us, and just for the sake of like having a good show? Or like, are you willing to sacrifice your family's farm and the people that you care about just to get the quote unquote Oprah shot? And the same for
yeah,
like
the Oprah shot,
Steven Yeun. Yeah, it's the same for Steven Yeun. When he saw the fucking saucer, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna try to like get him over here, so like it would present my show to, like,
yeah,
make my show have more notoriety. My show is gonna be
right,
fucking awesome. Like, it was the theme of the movie was like, what sacrifice are you willing to make for the sake of entertainment? And that was something that was like alluded to consistently in this fucking movie, because everyone was doing something for the notoriety of entertainment. Same goes for
yeah,
um, Daniel and Keke Palmer's father and their ranch. Like, their own main purpose was like to train these horses to be able to work in the film industry, so that they can get
right,
money, so they can get
right,
notoriety, so they can go back to how they were as the first animal wrangler in the movie business, kind of thing.
yeah,
So it was very much that message going on. So that's why the movie introduced that monkey, because it was the fact that, like, Steven Yeun's character, like, that was like, he witnessed the chimp that grew up with him. That he grew up with that chimp since he was a baby, and thought that he was like, like a brother, only to turn around and fucking demolish and shred the entire cast members. And literally stand there right in front of it and see that and still be scarred, but for the sake of entertainment, said, I'm going in my head, I can wrangle this spaceship and use it to entertain my people and put my entire family in harm's way. So it's like,
That's
even with that
actually
type of scar, even with that type of trauma, the world of entertainment is so heavy and it's so like toxic that he's like, I have to do it for the sake of entertainment. Like it's my show. I have to make it so popular. And that goes with every single one of these people. They want that Oprah shot, quote unquote Oprah shot that Keke Palmer said all throughout the fucking movie.
I gotta tell you, that was actually incredibly insightful, and I would have never pulled that out. That was actually really, really good, and that actually kind of makes a little bit more sense to me now. Like about Steven Yeun's
Yeah,
character.
right.
I love Steven.
And it made
Steven Yeun. Y'all know we're big Walking Dead
yeah.
fans. Steven Yeun is awesome. He did an awesome job as Glenn. But yeah, man, I actually I agree with a lot of what you just said. I don't know, like even again going back to the guessing game thing, like a lot of it, the way the dad died at the beginning, some even honestly, Steven Yeun's whole compound, his amusement park thing of like people, like it was weird and it was very strange. Like I was kind of like, is there going to be like I kept expecting. Honestly, the alien thing with the I'm a beautiful butterfly, like that wasn't necessarily the twist I was expecting. I was expecting a twist with the people. So when they all died, I was like, oh, it's like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Like it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it was a little odd. Like this movie really kept me guessing through the majority of it. And
even at the very end, because of
I
that
know.
because of that question that we have, that if you
Right.
guys have seen, like it's like, bro, like did spoiler alert, did Daniel Kaluuya did he
Did
die or
OJ
did he
die?
not?
Well,
Yeah.
because if you remember, OJ, he does his like he looks at Keke Palmer and they say goodbye, and he goes to lead the alien off, and Keke Palmer rides off into the distance, right? Well, when we see him at the end, like she gets her Oprah shot, during the in the amusement park, she gets the Oprah shot when it goes to attack the balloon or whatever, she gets the shot of the alien, but when she sees OJ on Lucky through the fog at the end of the movie, I said, okay, did that really happen? And my guy was like, yeah, he's alive. That's the point. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like the fact that he was encased in fog, the fact that we didn't actually see them embrace and hug again, the fact that he had no more lines in the film, like it just felt it felt very ambiguous. Like, is he really alive? Is he really dead? Like, I don't know exactly what to make of this, but a lot of it felt very ambiguous. A lot of things, like honestly, you saying that about the chimp thing, like that's made more sense than anything else.
Well, here's
like, a lot of
here's
it was
why
kind of left up to the imagination, and that's something that I think Jordan Peele does very well, and that's something that I like that he's brought to the table. It's something that a lot of films could learn from these days, in like, you don't have to explain every single thing. Like, you can leave some things up. That's where he is like Carpenter, because Carpenter didn't he didn't have to explain everything. It was just happening. You have to deal with what's happening right now.
Because
we don't need to see it. We don't need the backstory. We don't need to know why it's happening. The why is irrelevant in a lot of Carpenter's films for the most part. But I like the ambiguity of what Jordan Peele is doing with his horror flicks. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I will say this at the end. The reason why I know that both of us have that different perspective on whether or not Daniel died or not was because, from your perspective of, okay, he died, was at the end you see Keke Palmer, take a deep breath, close her eyes, and just takes a moment and acknowledge that, like, hey, the alien's dead, it's done.
Right.
And when she opens her eyes, she sees her brother out in the fog with riding the horse, and kind of similar to the very first motion picture of the black man on the horse.
Yeah.
Very similar to that.
Okay.
In the fog, not
That's
saying a word. Yeah. Not like giving Daniel like the legacy of like, that's him. Like our legacy will live on. And he's out in the fog, he's out in distance. There's no words being spoken, but on the top, you see on the sign it says "out yonder," which is a very very common term for people who would say like, oh, he's out yonder, he's moved on from us,
Exactly.
he's passed away.
That
But I will say, with my perspective in regards to I don't think he died, was because Daniel's character in the movie was always about like he was never able to never able to live up to his father's legacy of being able to wrangle these horses, because you saw in the first time he was out in the job doing his thing, he couldn't like keep the horse down, so that's why they lost the job.
right.
And his father always told him like, hey, like it's a tough business being a wrangler and all that stuff, like it's really tough. So, and you could tell like throughout the movie he was silently like failing at his family's business. So when he finally decided like I'm gonna wrangle this fucking spaceship, that was his final test to like say like I can be like my father and be better than my father. So that's why I think he needed to live so that he can have that story in for him saying like, okay, I can actually I can be a horse wrangler. I can actually do this business. I can live up to my father's legacy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and also when it comes to Keke Palmer turns like when she gets the Oprah shot, guess what? All of TMZ shows up, like the news people, everything. They show up and they want to know what's going on. And throughout the movie, Keke Palmer was always like, "Oh, I want the Oprah shot. We're gonna meet Oprah. We're gonna get all this fucking notoriety. We're gonna meet everyone. We're gonna get Dr. Phil. We're gonna be on CNN, Fox, whatever the fuck you think." And at the very end, when she finally gets the Oprah shot and goes through all this fucking shit, and she sees the fucking the paparazzi come in or the press, she turns away from them and takes a
Yeah.
deep breath and looks
Yeah.
at Daniel. And that was pretty much her acknowledging her coming to terms and her like whole character development of like, oh, I don't want this entertainment life thing. Like I don't want the
It,
notoriety.
it's
I just
very
want to be
interesting.
I just want to live on with my brother
Yeah.
and continue with my family business, because she was able to wrangle her own. Both of them were able to wrangle that spaceship together, because Keke Palmer never got to wrangle her fucking horse because it was sent to Daniel. So in regards to her story, I felt it would have been much more meaningful to have both Keke Palmer and Daniel survive. But with your perspective, it's just as fucking powerful, which is why I do agree with you in regards of Jordan Peele being like Carpenter, because there's a lot of ambiguity in it, and I fucking love the ending of it so much because there's two routes you can definitely take, and I really hope Jordan Peele doesn't acknowledge what happens to him, because I love the fact that we can all talk about like, did he die? Did he not? What
Yeah.
happened? Is the alien still alive? Like
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. Like I love that fact about movies. I miss that in movies. I hate the fact of like giving everything on a silver platter. While granted, some of them are nice and all that stuff, I still enjoy watching those movies.
Yeah.
But the whole like ambiguous ending of it, like not knowing what happened, and us being able to walk out of the movie theater and be like, bro, like he's dead. And I'm like, no, he's not dead. He's like he
Right.
survived. Like
The
both of
fact
them
that we can
survived.
have that back and forth conversation is cool. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and something else that kind of struck me, like looking back on it now, is this film. Get Out and Us had I guess you could say, a similar vibe, a similar tone, but they're not this. I'm not saying they're the same kind of movie, because they're not. But this
No.
one the tone of this one felt a little different. It did have horror elements. Like one of my I was kind of pissed that it was a fake out scare, because one of my
That fake out
favorite
scare is my
moments was when
favorite.
Daniel Kaluuya, the light flips on and he looks out the window when they're blasting the music or whatever, and he goes out in the barn and he shuts the light off and he's walking around and the light turns back on, and he turns around and he sees the alien like creeping around, and I was like, this is actually like kind of great.
I
Like,
saw
this
the
is
alien
actually,
before you. Yeah, I saw
yeah.
the alien
Well, I
before you.
didn't
I
see
saw
it
it
at first.
crouching, and then when it stood up, I was like, "Oh, Brad's gonna love that one."
Well, I didn't expect it. I was like, this is actually kind of. I was like, I'm slightly like concerned right now. Like,
Uncomfortable.
this is kind of
Yeah.
creepy. Like, I was like, this is different. I didn't think we were gonna go here, but as soon as it turned out to be a fake out scare, I was like, okay. Like,
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
well, that was a shame. Like that, I don't know. It was cool. The house scene was actually really cool. When you're hearing the soundscape was really cool, and that kind of leads me into my next thing. Like the sounds when the UFO had sucked up everybody from the amusement park, and it was
Mm-hmm.
over top of the house. When Daniel Kaluuya realized that it was being territorial and that it was like it itself was the alien, it was alive. I'm still a little flaky on how exactly he figured that out because I'm not really 100% sure. But
That
you
is
know, like,
true.
yeah, I don't know. There's some things I don't know what's a plot hole, quote unquote, and what was purposely left ambiguous by Jordan Peele, because I do
Mm-hmm.
believe some of it was left purposely supposed to be on the ambiguous side of things, but um, it seemed like the two scariest parts of the movie for me were the scene when Daniel Kaluuya is in the barn when it turns out to be fake, and then when OJ is trying to get home, and Keke Palmer and Best Buy guy are, I know it's not really Best Guy, I'm just being funny. Angel, that's his name. What was her name in the film? Emerald, that's what it was. When Emerald
Yeah.
and Best Buy Angel are in the house and it's over top of them, and you hear the horses, and you hear the horses, you hear everybody screaming, and then the blood starts to soak and it stops. Like the soundscape was cool. The UFO looked and sounded very scary. Actually, it was one of the UFO itself was one of the better horror elements of the film. But I even said this to you as we walked out, like, and this, I don't mean this is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. There were moments in this movie that felt like a Western. There were moments in this movie that felt like an action flick. There were moments that felt like a suspense thriller. There were moments that felt super horror. There were moments that felt like a monster movie. Like it was a lot of different genres and a lot of different vibes kind of tossed into one, which again, not a bad
Mm-hmm.
thing. That can be really, really cool. Even the end of the film, we went from more of a weird, suspenseful thriller horror flick to there were a lot of jump scares and it was kind of strange. And then we moved to the third act. It was like when they're actually trying to like get
It
the
was like
UFO
Cowboys
and
versus Aliens, if you guys have seen
yeah,
it.
when they have all of like these guys like out in the field or whatever, and they steal
Mm-hmm.
them and they're trying to bait it and whatever, like it was kind of Cowboys versus Aliens ish. But there was a moment where I was like, this feels like a monster movie, like an
Yeah.
OG, like an old Kong, old Godzilla monster movie. It even kind of had that like single like just like a single tone bomb 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 like when the UFO is turning into the thing, like it the ending kind of felt like it was a monster movie, like I was watching something out of the Monsterverse. And then
Yeah.
when you get to the end, it's like, oh yeah, this was a horror movie. Like it was kind of it was all over the place, but it worked and I liked it, and I really really like what Jordan Peele is doing with his films. So
I
it
agree.
was definitely fun.
I really hope Jordan Peele continues to astound us with his fucking filmmaking and storytelling, because all of his movies, whether it's Get Out, Us, or No, every single one of them are completely different stories, and they show just as much fucking they jolt just as much fucking fear in every single one of us when we watch it, whether it's horror, whether it's aliens, parallel universes, or just fucked up white folks. Like it's it's
Yeah,
it all gives you a jolt of fear, and it plays with the usual horror tropes that I'm sure Jordan Peele has come to love so much, which is why his movies work so well. Is
I
because
agree.
this is a horror fan through and through.
Yep.
And I'm so sad that he didn't get to continue with the Twilight Zone, because I'm sure I didn't get to see
Yeah.
it, but like I'm sure I need to watch it, because I'm sure it's fucking phenomenal. Him
Right.
doing the Twilight Zone. They need to bring that back. But because Jordan Peele is able to do that, because if you guys have seen the Twilight Zone is all like, it's scary, but it's like uneasy or like uncomfortable
Right.
scare. You know what I'm talking about?
It's
Like
an uncomfortable.
weird uncomfortable feeling throughout the movie. Like I remember specifically there was one episode where this lady was like she went through like some facial reconstruction or whatever, and she was so scared to like reveal what she looks like. She probably looks like a monster, and she was going through that stuff. But when she finally takes off the rag, or like the gauze, turns out she's just a normal human being.
Yeah.
But the twist was everyone was just so fucking like distraught by what she looks, because they all look like fucking pig people, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck is
I know,
this? So I was like,
it's very strange.
so like, yeah, so that ambitious storytelling and that like atmosphere is something Jordan Peele does well. He does it so well, and like, even though it's not to that like massively over like, you know, over ambitious way, you still feel that uncomfortable feeling throughout all three of his movies.
Yeah.
And
I gotta hand it to him. He has swung for the fences with all three of his films, and he's hit a
really
home run
has.
every single time. He is
Yeah.
really I'm glad you said about the Twilight Zone thing, because it's a perfect example. He does what he does really, really well, playing around in his wheelhouse, which is the weird. It's the creepy. He builds suspense, and he builds a creamy He builds a creamy atmosphere.
Okay.
No, he doesn't do that. I don't think he does that. But he builds a creepy atmosphere, and he builds tension through you being like, what? Like, ugh, like what is going on here? Like, I don't like this. I don't like this, Chrissy. Wake up. Like, you know what I mean? So like, he does that really, really well, man. And I like what he's doing a lot, deep in my pants. But real quick, again, just like we did with Prey a few minutes ago, guys, if you're watching with us right now, or if you're watching after the fact, click the like button on this episode. That helps us out a whole lot. Again, we don't put too much stock into this. It's a fun conversation piece. As we round out our review, Nope has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, a horror flick, or a horror-esque flick, that has a higher critic score than an audience score, which is interesting to me. Usually the audience score on horror movies is far superior to the critic score, but the Prey and Nope both have higher critic scores. 82% on the tomato meter, it is certified fresh. 68% on the audience score, which isn't bad. It's still okay. Going down, looking at some quick reviews. First one, Donald Clark. Peele may never again make a film so elegantly structured as Get Out, who has, but the ferment of interlocking ideas here is so diverting it hardly matters that the film is more at home to a meaner than a steady ascent. I kind of, Get Out was very, very good, but I kind of like that this is different. And there
Get
are
Out was such a standout horror flick.
It was.
So yeah, it's just critics saying like, oh, you can never do what your first standout movie was. And it's like, bro, that's not the point. It's like, that's not the point to one up every single movie. It's to be like, I want to be able to tell a decent story about, or in regards to horror, 100%. I want to tell a decent story that tickles the fear that a lot of us have, and whether it's spiders, snakes, aliens, weather, or demons, or, you know, stuff like that. Like, I want to be able to tell a good story while also playing with your fear of whatever it is you fear. So
yeah, and he likes to tickle your feet. There's a couple of these that I really like. Wenli Ma says, Nope is nothing if not a spectacle. Peele wants you to look, and he wants you to think about the exercise of looking and consuming. There it is again for you, Miguel, that point you made earlier. And he has all of the tricks to hypnotize and bewitch his audiences so that they never look away. And that is a perfect explanation of what Jordan Peele has done with his films. He constantly keeps you thinking, and that's kind of the theme a lot about what they call elevated horror, like now, like modern horror being kind of like almost think pieces. I feel like Jordan Peele's films are think pieces. It makes you think about what you're doing. Even now, like, I hadn't gotten that, the whole consumerism entertainment thing, and like what you said about that. Even look at what Danny Lee said. Flaws and all, the beauty of Nope as being two things at once: art and cheap thrills, popcorn and provocation, blockbuster and brain food, the old mixed up formula that is still cinema's secret weapon. Like, I think those are two very, very, very good explanations of what Jordan Peele does in his films. Like, he balances things out very, very well. He keeps you guessing. He keeps you thinking. the moment you think you realize what's happening, you really have no idea. And that's the
Mhm.
genius of what he's done.
Yeah. So pretty much what I would say is like in regards to response to that, like you got to understand like there's different subgenres of horror, and you got to understand that Jordan Peele, like you got to go into movies with little expectations, but go to a movie with the expectations of what you know about the director. So you know Sam Raimi is going to make a Sam Raimi film. Like you know all the tropes that he's going to have, all the tricks he's going to have in his sleeve. You know the tropes Stephen King is going to do, and Carpenter. Jordan Peele, you know exactly what he's going to do. It's the same thing with all
Right.
of, I forgot what his name is, but he directed Black Klansman. All of his movies
Oh,
are
I know who you're
gonna,
talking about.
yeah, all of his movies are
Uh,
gonna have his tricks, his undertones, his message that he wants to bring out. Jordan Peele is very much going to be
Spike
a
Lee.
think piece director, huh? Spike
Spike
Lee,
Lee.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jordan Peele he's going to be a very well known think piece director, and I would be surprised if he ever ended up doing like a slasher film or something like that. I'd be very surprised. I think he falls in the realm of
Mhm.
think piece directors, and the same as Stephen King and John Carpenter. It's so fucking hilarious that we're talking about a man who made a funny video
I know,
on
right?
Comedy Central about dubstep and is
Yeah.
being compared to John Carpenter
He's a good
and
writer.
Stephen
He
King.
is. Well,
Yeah.
and he's similar. Another way you saying that about like I'm curious to see, and I'm excited to see what the rest of his career is going to look like because, he has a lot of like of very different ideas. Like he even said he has like two or three ideas planned or not planned out, but he has two or three ideas for his next film, but he's waiting to see how Nope does and how people respond to this film before he like picks one to go with. Like I think he's got a lot of very different ideas because he has put out, I mean, if he sticks to his track record, he has put out three very unique different films
Mhm.
from one each other, but all
That are
three of them have
successful.
all three of them have worked and worked well in their own unique ways. So I'm curious to see what the rest of his career is going to look like simply because um, I think that he is like Carpenter, and that if you look at Carpenter's films are all very unique from each other. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
no other Carpenter film that feels like Halloween, and there's no other Carpenter film that quite feels like, Assault on Precinct 13 or Christine or The Fog. Like they all
Mhm.
feel like very different original ideas, and I think Jordan Peele does fall into that. So he is definitely a mixture of John Carpenter and Stephen King for me.
He has
I'm gonna
thrown 3 slam dunks, man, like,
Yeah,
3
he has
like, put that in
nailed
perspective.
three slam
It's
dunks.
very hard for a breakout director to literally bring out 3 fucking heavy hitters, like, each one of his movies, Get Out and Us and, Nope, each one of them have, like, certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, like, high 90s or no, like, 90s%, and
Yeah.
their audience scores are just as
Let's
fucking
see.
strong, so, like, it's Jesus, man.
Let's see. Again, just
I'm
looking at
really
Rotten
excited to see
Tomatoes.
what he
Let
has
me.
up his sleeve moving forward.
Okay, so give me just a second. I'm gonna pull up all of Jordan Peele's films on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see. So, okay. All right. Get Out has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
God damn.
Has a 98%. Us has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Nope has an 82%. So it's his lowest scoring film, but it's still an 82%. Like Halloween Kills has like what is that? Let's do Halloween 2018.
That's gotta be like in the 70s.
Let's see what Halloween 2018 has. Halloween 2018 has a 79. So Halloween 2018 and Nope scored close to each other. Let's see. Halloween. I don't want Halloween 6. I want Halloween Kills. Yeah, Halloween Kills has a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's another horror flick?
Stephen King's It.
Yeah, let's look at it. It has a it has an 86%. So I mean, look, he's doing well. like,
Mhm.
like he's really, really doing a very good job right now with his films, and he's clearly a very distinct, unique director, and I'm really, really excited about his future of his career and what he brings. For me, I'm gonna say Nope is at about a 7.5. It's not. And that could go up after seeing it a second time too. I'll definitely want to watch it again, and we'll definitely hit all of Jordan Peele's films on Purely and Simply Evil as well. But it sits at a 7.5 for me. I really enjoyed it.
That's insane, because I would say it's probably like a 9.3 for me. It's up there, yeah. It's definitely one of those. I would say the beginning of it is definitely like slow burns. I would agree with that. But when it hits the ground running, it hits the ground running.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm probably biased on it because I'm just a huge Jordan Peele fan. So yeah, it's like a 9.3 for me, 9.2.
Yeah. Listen, two awesome films. We had our Alien double feature this week. We saw Prey and we got to watch Nope. Two very different Alien films, though. Very, very, very different Alien films, but two really fun flicks nonetheless. This has been episode number 88 of Let's Talk Movies. We are getting dangerously close to 100. We are 12 episodes away from 100, and that is just I was thinking about it the other day because I'm in the process of making a new intro for us, which I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping to get that actually like premiered and out, and start using that new intro by September 1st. But looking at old clips and stuff, and I'm like, man, we're 100 episodes. Like, that's hard to believe. It doesn't feel like we've been doing this for 2 years and we're going to be hitting episode number 100, and we're at almost 650 subscribers, which, by the way, we're going to do a full Q&A show once we hit 650. We said we were going to do that at 500, but because you guys rock, we've been kicking butt lately, so we pushed that back, and we're going to do a Q&A at 650. We have Oktoberfest coming up from the end of September all the way through October and through the beginning of November. We are going to take some time, and we're going to do all Halloween related content, all horror related content. And like we said before, we'll still talk about Marvel and DC if there's stuff to talk about. Obviously, I know we're really running behind on Purely and Simply Evil. We still got to get to Elm Street 4, 5, 6, and New Nightmare. We're going to save the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. We're going to do a full horror remake season of Purely and Simply Evil. But we are going to get back to Purely and Simply Evil very, very soon. And we also have Classics Revisited again, something that I know it's on the horizon. We have thought about it. We have a plan. We're going to get there. So it's just been a crazy couple of months, but I feel like I'm starting to get back in the groove of it. You know what I mean? I'm starting to feel like, okay, the train's chugging again. So super excited. Thank you to every single person that joined us for the stream. If you're watching after the fact, if you're watching on Spotify, head over to our Twitter account at We Talk the Movies. Let us know what you thought of Nope and Prey. We would love to hear your thoughts. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this episode and leave us a comment. We would love to hear what you think. As always, you guys are absolutely amazing, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace. Have an awesome rest of your weekend and a great work week.
Peace.
We love you. Listen, if anybody is going camping, John Campia, what? If anybody's going camping, if you start to hear,
oh my God, that's pretty.
You better
impressive.
run. You better go get mud and smeared all over your body like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
yeah, and don't look up either. So
yeah, don't look at it. You can't look at it either because you don't know if it's going to be a butterfly UFO or if it's going to be a different species of the predator. Who knows? So get to the chopper. Bye.